Hello, this is Mr. Jarrett, and in this video tutorial, we are going to be 3D modeling this object. So the thing here that confuses a lot of people is understanding that the origin is floating right in the middle of this circle, but it is on the front face of that wall. Okay, so then you got to ask yourself, where do I want to start? Where do I want to draw this from? This part is actually pretty easy. When you break it down, it has a back piece, and then it just has this piece that extrudes out from it. So this whole entire back section is just right here in the front view. So let's draw that and extrude back, and then we'd have a flat bottom, so we can draw this whole entire piece, and we can extrude up, and it's done. So I'm going to be drawing on my front view, and I'm going to use a mixture of measurements, but mainly these measurements here that I see. So let's pull this to our other screen. And in SolidWorks, we can start a new part, and we want to set our units to mmgs. And let's sketch right here on the front plane. I'm going to start out by getting my circle tool, and right off of your origin, draw your circle. Then you can get the center point arc tool, and right from your origin, let's move up. Let's click, and we want to wrap around like this. Okay. Then we'll get our line tool, and we'll continue to draw that shape. So click there, move straight over, down on an angle, straight down, all the way back. And I actually didn't give myself a whole lot of room here, so we're just going to click right underneath that dot and move back up. Okay. Green check, and I'm just going to readjust this just so you can see what the shape should look like. That's a little bit better. Okay, so get yours to somewhat look like that. You might have to move some dots around or such, but you also want this tangent up at the top. So to make that tangent, you can select the arc, hold in shift, click the line, and then make it tangent. And then down here at the bottom, we want to make this straight up from the origin, same thing with that. So let's click that dot up at the top, hold in shift, click your origin, and this dot down here, and let's make them vertical from one another. So they'll all line up. Okay. Now, if this line up at the top isn't horizontal and this line down here isn't horizontal, please make them. This line also has to be vertical, and so does this one. And I noticed this one is not on mine, so I need to make that vertical yet. There we go. It was on a slight angle. Now we can start putting in some of our measurements. So I'll start out by making the circle first. And I'll dimension that, and that has a diameter of 20. This big arc has a radius of 20. This line up here going across the top is 30. And from the origin all the way over to this far side is 70. Okay. It shows that this is a 45-degree angle, so we want to click on this line and the angled line and move out here and set that to 45 degrees. And then we just need to know how far down this piece goes. So the depth of this down, I'm going to pull this picture back over, is actually seen on my other screen. Okay, so it shows that this is all lined up. So we just used all of these measurements, but this little chunk here, this bottom piece, which is this, that corner, the top piece, is actually lined up with the corner over here, and we can see that by coming across. So it's all in line, and that is 10 high. Okay, it is 10 high. So some of these measurements, as far as heights, we don't even really need because we used all of these and it created these heights. But the 10 we do need to put in. So that's just one of these pieces. You can just click on this little vertical piece and make that 10. Okay. Now we're not going to draw the box or anything that you see here because this piece that you actually see down here, all of this, is this thing. And we're not drawing that right now. We're drawing the back section of it. So you do have to do a little bit of thinking ahead of, okay, well, what do these lines actually represent? What do they mean? And see if you need to draw them in that current view or not. In this case, we didn't have to draw these. So now we'll go to Features tab and Extrude. And remember, we're drawing on the front face, and we want the origin on the front. So we need to switch this to going backwards. And the thickness, actually 10, which is the default here. So we're good to go. So hit the green check. And now we have the whole back section drawn, and you can even see the origins floating right here up front. So now we just need to draw this piece that comes out. So I have a nice flat bottom here underneath. So you should rotate around underneath, and let's sketch right on the bottom of that. So get the sketch tool, click on that, on this flat bottom, then hit Control 8. And now we're actually going to be drawing the top view, what we see here in the top view. But in this case, we're actually looking at this kind of upside down. So this portion right here is not going to be coming down. It's not going to be coming down. It's going to be going up. Maybe your screen is oriented a different way, but my SolidWorks moved me like this. So you can kind of see I'm underneath, and I'm going to be going up here. Okay, so Control 8, it's got me to a good view, and then I just need to kind of draw that. So right here from my origin, I'm going to draw straight up, hit Escape, get the line tool again. From my origin, I'll draw over, click, draw up, click, and then I need to put a big arc in here. So we can just use the tangent arc. I'll click on one line and move around and click on the other line. And if it didn't make it tangent automatically for you, remember you need to hit Escape, and then you can click on one line, hold in Shift, click the other, and then you can select tangent. Okay, but now this is good. It'll resize itself and everything. So let's draw a circle on the inside here, and now we have a center point to work off of. And then we can start dimensioning everything. So this circle on the inside itself is 20. The arc on the outside also has a radius of 20. And then how far up this center point is, so we want to click the center point and then the bottom line, how far up that is actually seen on the right side view, and that is 30. So I'm going to pull that back over so you can see. And that actually goes from the very back of this, not from the origin, but from the very back to the center. And this line right here is the center point of this circle. So let's move back over here because I just noticed I did this wrong. I did not go from the very back. I went from the origin. So let's delete this. Let's delete this 30 here and actually do this again. So dimension, and we want to go from the dot all the way to the back line this time. Not from our origin, but from the back line. So you can see I made it a little bit too big. So that is 30. Then we can go to our Features tab and hit Extrude, and it'll select this entire area. So let's rotate around so we can see what we're doing. And if we didn't rotate around, we would have extruded the wrong way. But you can see it's going down currently. So we want to flip this to go up. And we already said before that the height of this is 10. It's the same as this thing over here. So let's hit the green check because that's our default. And now we have our complete shape. So just 2 sketches. That's all you really needed here. Okay, 2 sketches. So let's change our material. And our material is cast alloy steel. And if we evaluate this, mass properties, we should get 301.37 grams. So if you got that, you can save this and move on to the next one. If you didn't, please go back in, try to edit your sketch or your extrusion, figure out where you went wrong, do some problem solving, correct it, and then save and move on to the next one.